Hi, thanks for tuning in. This is going to be a video, just my brief thoughts on the new Urban Decay 15th anniversary palette that just came out recently. I know it's been a very hot item lately. A lot of people are trying to get their hands on it. It's sold out in a lot of places. I was just really lucky to be on the Beauty Broadcast Facebook page, and a very kind girl had posted that it was finally available online on Sephora. I went right on Sephora, ordered right then and there. So thank you to that girl. I'm sorry I can't remember her name. But this is the palette. I'll try not to give you glare with this. Really nice packaging. Has the UD in the center, which is jewels or plastic jewels. Gives the jewel effect. And then on the side has this really nice detail. So complaint number one, and I read this in the reviews before I bought it, it gets fingerprints everywhere because it is metal and it shows the fingerprints like crazy. I've seen some people that are quite upset about it and say that they can't enjoy the palette because of the fingerprints. It really doesn't bother me that much. What I try to do is I try to keep it clean, and then I just keep my hands on the sides like this when I lift it, and it just opens like that. And I guess that's my next complaint, is that this lid comes completely off. So this is definitely not a travel friendly palette. You can't close it in any way, which is kind of frustrating. But I believe that the shadows and their quality and some of their uniqueness makes up for it. So these are the shadows. So in this first row, you've kind of got your neutrals, the middle is your really bright funky colors, and then the last row is your more smoky colors. So really beautiful colors. So I already had the Urban Decay Naked palette, and I noticed that some of the shades are very similar. So if you have one already, I would really think if you really need the second one. Because if you already have the Naked palette, you pretty much have a lot of those neutral colors that are in it. Midnight Rodeo, Midnight 15, um, this one here called Deeper is basically an exact dupe for Smog, which is kind of frustrating because when they put out this palette, they said it's brand new, 15 shades that aren't in their collection, have never been seen, limited edition shades. So it's kind of frustrating when they say it's limited edition shades, and yet you're finding exact dupes. And all they've really done essentially then is change the name. And this one here, MIA, pretty much a dupe for Dark Horse. Now, I really am a fan of bright colors. I love bright colored makeup, so I was immediately drawn to this palette because I love that middle row. I guess why I bought it was because I love those shades and I like neutrals as well, so I thought this is awesome to have them all in one. And I do like to collect makeup, so in terms of collecting purposes, I thought this palette would do well for me. And the shadows are amazingly pigmented, super smooth, just wonderful. Basically the same quality if you're familiar with the Naked palette, so you can expect similar quality if you have that palette already. I guess another downfall is that there really isn't a matte highlight, which can be frustrating because if you're doing a really sparkly look on the lid, having a frosted highlight can be just too much. And so unfortunately, there isn't one in there. But if you have both, you can always grab Naked from in here or use an entirely different matte highlight altogether. I think some of the standout shades are this corner one called Half Truth, which is really interesting purple that has kind of gray undertones, a little bit of blue in it. I really think that that's a unique shade that I definitely don't have in my collection. I'm sure there's dupes out there for it. I just personally don't have it. And another one that is definitely standout is Omen, which is that purple right in the center. If you move it forward and back, you can kind of catch the blue duochrome that it has. And this pink color called Junk Show. Now, I know a lot of people are kind of afraid of pink eyeshadow, but it can be worn um, in a wearable way if done correctly and done in a subtle way. Or you could do a really crazy look with this too. So Junk Show has a really cool purple duochrome, which is really nice. And you do get a black matte shade, which is nice. I mean, I have tons of black matte eyeshadows in my collection, but it's nice just to have it right there in the palette. And the other shade that I really loved was this teal color at the bottom right there, and it's called Deep End. And I think that was the color that kind of sold me on the palette. That was the color that my eye went to immediately, and I thought, oh man, that is beautiful. And I thought, I definitely don't have a shade like that, and I have to have this palette. Then, yesterday in Walmart, my Walmart finally is carrying the Wet n Wild 8 color palettes from the Color Icon collection. And this one is called Blue Had Me at Hello. And I know many of you have it. And this teal shade, which they've labeled for the eyelid right there, it doesn't look identical in the pan, but swatched, they are 100% absolute dupes. So it's a little frustrating to find that out later, but if you're like me and you really loved that teal shade and you're maybe not sold on some of the other colors, or you already have the Naked palette, maybe consider getting this for that teal color, because I mean this is $4 or $5, so definitely a lot cheaper than an Urban Decay palette. And that goes for some of the other shades. I mean, I would really look at your collection and see if there are dupes for those colors that you think that you don't have. Really look at them and decide if you need it or not. But having said that, I have really enjoyed this palette so far. I've used about half of the shades. I'm definitely not, I don't regret buying it. I think it's a wonderful collection. It's definitely an awesome collector's piece, and I'm really happy with the shadow quality. And I personally just like having a collection of colors like this all together. It's just really handy to have. Beautiful packaging minus the fingerprints issue. And between the two, I honestly can't decide which is my favorite. If I'd bought this first, it might have been my favorite because it's kind of your neutrals and your brights all in one. But the Naked palette does have some standout shades that aren't in this one. So in terms of which one's better, I can't give you the answer. I love them both. But if you are only in the market for buying one, I would really just go by what kind of makeup you like. If you really like fun colors, but you also wear neutrals, I'd consider getting this one. And if you're more of a neutral lover and just really can't see yourself wearing those bright colors, then it's definitely a waste to get this palette, and I would recommend the Naked palette for those neutrals. So thanks again for watching, and don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.